a while, so let's like touch everybody to base like where you are as of now, as far as who you are, what you do creatively, where you're from. Like basically just introduce
So my
yourself.
name is Jennyfer, and I am a Puerto Rican creative based in Orlando, Florida. And I used to always say that I was an illustrator, and it took a long time to claim that I was an illustrator. But lately I've been doing a lot more than illustrating. I'm running my own business and doing the marketing for it, doing the websites, doing the content creation, and I'm doing painting and all my stuff that are my art related things. So I've been calling myself just a creative, which is pretty much my brand as Creative Jennyfer. So it definitely is something that I do. And yeah, so that's what I am. I'm just a creative.
I wanted to talk a little bit about how you're able to juggle being a busy illustrator and a busy mom of two, and how you find balance in juggling both, you know, with motherhood and being basically a freelancer.
My biggest one is 6. So I've had a little bit of time to like, you know, adjust to the stuff and figure out what I can do for my routine, my schedule to make it work. But it wasn't always like, I wasn't always doing as much as I am doing right now. Like there were definitely like slow moments and like moments where I didn't know what I was doing at all. But I think now that I have a very more clear vision, then it's a lot easier to figure out what I need to do every day to get closer to where I want to be. So that's kind of what I think. Balance, that was like one of the things, I think last year, that was my biggest focus. I was trying to find balance with things. And by the end of the year, after like just like juggling all the different stuff and trying to figure out all these different things of how to make it work, I realized that I don't think I'm going to reach balance anytime soon. My kids are 2 different ages and we homeschool. And we spend a lot of time at home. Every day looks very different. As much as I would love to have a very specific routine, it's not like that. Things change, they feel different every day, and things come up, and there's always different things to deal with. So I haven't found that balance. I'm not sure if I will anytime soon, but I keep telling myself that I'm working really hard right now so that hopefully one day I will find that balance, so that hopefully I can pass on my responsibility for my business and the stuff that I'm making to someone else, and that things can be ran without me so that I can be more focused on just being a mom, but things still getting done. So that's my goal. So I'm just kind of like sacrificing my time. So my own, like having fun, going out with friends and stuff like that to focus it on my business so that I can still dedicate the time that I'm supposed to dedicate to them while also still working on myself. But making sure I'm not sacrificing too much because I'm still important. And last year I sacrificed a little bit too much of me. So I'm trying not to do that.
I hear you on that, like finding balance and like no day looking the same, because every day for me is different. I'm not working outside of what I do, like with my photography and podcasting, but it still is a lot just being a stay-at-home mom and doing everything that you do. And I didn't even know that you homeschool, so that's a lot in itself. I can't even imagine adding homeschool on top of everything that you do. I'm just like mind blown, like, oh man, you're like Wonder Woman.
We all have our hard days, but I have a great support system. Like my fiance gets home and right away, like pretty much they go with him and I get to have my own time. So I have moments where I get to dedicate it somehow. My 6-year-old and my 1-year-old take naps together. My 6-year-old, he still takes a nap. So that's a great thing. So I get a couple of hours where it's like, it's just me and I don't have to feel like guilt for pulling myself aside to do what I need to do. So far it's good. I know it's not going to last forever. So I'm enjoying it for now.
That's nice. And it's really important to have that support system. I'm sure your fiance is taking the kids for a little while so you can focus on your work and be like, you know, fully present with that. Helps you to actually focus when you're trying to work, and then also have time for them, you know, when it's their time. And that kind of leads to my next question. How are you a present mom?
I'm a big overthinker, and sometimes I can get in my head a little bit. So I do work a lot to make sure that we're being present all together, not just me trying my hardest when they're doing something else. So we do play a lot together. We do a lot of activities together. we luckily share the same love for creative stuff and making art. My son, my 6-year-old son, he loves to draw and paint. And then my little son, he loves the same thing. His first word was actually draw. Yeah, we go outside and draw with chalk every day. So he picks up the chalk and he's like, draw. So we love doing that, and it's a great way to do quality time. But we do a lot of stuff together where it's just one-on-one and making sure that we're having time that they feel heard and that they're loved, pretty much, because that's important.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. As a mom myself, spending that quality time with your children is very important, because you don't want them growing up thinking that, you know, you don't care about them, that you focus on them, and like, those are your children. You don't want them growing up thinking that that they don't matter, that their feelings don't matter, that they want to have that quality time with you. And if you separate yourself or never have time for them, then obviously that relationship is not going to grow. You guys are going to grow further apart instead of closer together, and it can be really damaging too.
Yeah, and these early ages, like, I think people think like, oh, they won't remember, but I know that it's very, very important to like the foundation that they're going to have later on in life, and how they're going to create relationships and what they're going to think. So I try and make sure that I'm very present, and I try my hardest. I'm not perfect, so I have my days, I'm sure, but I at least try. I'm very conscious, and I work on the things that I feel like I need to work on. So that to me makes me a good mom.
That definitely does, and I'm sure your children truly appreciate you for it. And I see your stories, like how you're balancing like stuff you do in the day for work, and then you're like having picnics with your kids, taking them to eat lunch and do little things here and there. And I'm sure every day they appreciate that, and like sharing your creativity with them. I'm sure that really impacts them in a really positive way, in sharing something that you guys both enjoy. Do your kids understand when you're working, or is it hard for them to understand sometimes, since you're primarily at home as a stay-at-home mom? So you're always home with them. Like, how does that work?
On the weekends, I do sometimes do a little bit of work. I'll sneak into the studio if I can, because they don't really spend as much time with their dad during the week. So they'll get their own time, and that's where I'm like, ooh, my time. And that's where I say I sacrifice like going out with friends or going to go do anything that would be fun for me. I just kind of go in my studio and dedicate time to work when I can do that. But so Saturdays and Sundays mainly don't look like work. We do a lot of fun stuff. Like I think they look at those days as like, we're going out, we're going to be everywhere type of stuff. The weekdays, they're pretty different. Some weeks are hectic, and we have a lot of like errands to run and things to go do. I get more orders in some weeks, so we have to do a couple of trips to the post office and stuff like that. But I think that they kind of understand it. My 1-year-old, obviously, he doesn't know it, what work is or anything. It's like, oh, whatever.
Obviously.
My 6-year-old, he knows that I'm working, and like he's starting to understand it more and more of like how things work, because my work is different. It's not very, he doesn't physically see me go somewhere. He doesn't really understand, like I'm just on my phone or I'm just on my computer or stuff like that. So sometimes I have to like explain and show like, look, this is my website, like I made this, and like really show him, or like bring him into my process. So he'll pack orders with me, and like he'll do like the thank you cards and put like the stickers and stuff, and I'll be like, look, this person ordered this, and like they're gonna have it and stuff like that. Or if it's for like a wholesale order, like this store is gonna sell it, it's gonna be like in this place and stuff. So I try to make him a part of the process, so that he can see that like this is what I'm doing. Like I'm not just sitting here doing nothing. Like, I'm actually doing something, and it's you know, it's summing up to something bigger than what it was, and slowly he's seeing more. So I think he's like really understanding it, but he does have his hard times with it, like with being like, oh, okay, it's work time. Like he does interrupt a little bit and like wants his attention. So we're still learning like when it's your own time and not your time and stuff like that, but he's doing pretty good with it.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure your son really appreciates being included, like as far as your work and like understanding what you do and everything like that. That's really important, that he actually sees and knows what you do.
Right. We both make
thing.
sure to do that. Like my fiance will FaceTime while he's doing his job and like be like,
Yeah.
look, this is what I'm doing right now. So we try and make sure that he understands what work looks like and stuff like that. Because we want them to understand the value of work and all that stuff.
Of
Not we
course.
don't want him to be, too privileged or whatever.
Yeah. What's a typical day like for you taking care of your kids and then also taking care of your kids?
I mentioned not every day looks the same. Every day is different, but for the most part, I wake up very, very early. I'm a very early riser. So I get up early. Yeah, I get up super early. Like 4 o'clock, sometimes even 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't sleep a lot, which I'm sure it's a problem. But I feel great. Like I feel rested. I think I read something that there's some people that can like do good and just like a small amount of hours. And I keep telling myself I'm one of those people, but it's just like self-diagnosed. I use those early hours to like either do my drawing, because one of the things I don't get to do throughout the day sometimes is like draw without being interrupted, or whatever I need to do that I want to do without being interrupted. I take that time in the mornings to like really do that. Some mornings I don't do anything. I'll just sit there and like drink my coffee in the quiet and enjoy my quiet moments. But if I can, I definitely get up and try and get a little bit of ahead of myself, because I know like the day is going to be hectic. But once they get up, we do breakfast, we do like our morning routine, playtime. We always do walks. So we go on our walks and do our outside time. And then we do like our homeschool stuff and learning stuff. Then we do more outside time and we read books and stuff. We try and like really do a lot of things in the morning and like earlier throughout the day too. That's why I think they take their naps, because if I do all those stuff, then we go back home, we do lunch, we relax for a bit, and then they're pretty much tired, ready to go to sleep. And that's when they're sleeping is when I'm able to dedicate most of my time for a bit without being interrupted again. Sometimes I'll work a little bit in between the days, like while they're doing certain things on their own, I'll like sneak and do some stuff. But for the most part, like the morning part is more for them. And then once they take their nap and on is where I dedicate more of my time to work. And I mainly just wake up really early to do my work. I've realized that I don't do well working after like 6-8 o'clock. Like there's a certain time where I'm like, my brain's dead, I'm tired, it's been a long day, like taking care of kids and like drawing and doing all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, I can't. So I'll just like go to sleep early and wake up early and get my stuff done. But yeah, they wake up from their nap, we do our time together, then their dad gets home and I get to have a little bit more time together again, and we do more outside time, either a bike ride or a walk, and have our dinner, and then nighttime, and then do it again the next day.
I'm taking notes because I'm like, oh, okay, there's her secret. Early bird gets the worm. I am not a morning person, but
I am a morning person, so it works for me. I don't work well at night, which is weird because in the morning the sun's still not out and I can still work, but for some reason I just feel refreshed. I would say that's pretty much what it is. Like after a long day of like it's just so much, like my brain just literally like doesn't want to work, and I've learned that I could work if I'm tired, but it takes longer. I suffer through it, and I never feel like the outcome is as good as it would have been if I just would have gotten some rest. So I prioritize my rest, and if I feel tired, I stop, I go to sleep, and then I'll wake up early because I'm sure I'll be overthinking about it and I just go and take care of it. But I know there's always going to be time to get it done, so yeah, I try and make sure that if I'm tired, I just stop for a bit.
How do you encounter burnout when you do face it, or you feel like you're about?
I think I feel burned out coming whenever I'm like kind of dreading going into the studio, and like I usually love what I do. So if I feel heavy about having to go in there and force myself to do the things, then that's where I make sure to like slow down. I try and get off social media because comparison sucks. Seeing other people do as much as they're doing and you're not doing what you think you should be doing, it makes me feel even worse. So I make sure that I'm not on social media. And then I just like do the things I like. I try and go out into nature, go walk. Sometimes I move my entire studio around or my home around just to change of scenery, or like just doing something different or something I love just usually brings me back. I just need to take a break and slow down, which is something I learned the hard way.
Yeah. Well, you're definitely not alone in that. I could definitely relate into needing to slow down and like take a break from things and having a change of scenery and such and stuff like that. I feel like burnout happens so easily, like especially when you're passionate about something and you're just going full steam ahead, and then poof, it's like you have to take a step back.